Protesters filled the streets of Youngstown, Warren, and Mercer County today. Signs raised high and voices louder. Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! The Hands Off movement, part of a national day of action, rallied in over 1,000 cities across the United States.
I have grandchildren. They have to live in this country. And what kind of future are they going to have?
Protesters say the stakes are personal, fighting to protect health care, education, and democracy itself.
What's happening to our country? It's falling apart before our eyes, and we don't have a king in this country. We have a democracy.
Organizers emphasize that this movement isn't about party lines. It's about people and power.
This is not right or left. This is not a partisan issue. This is about people, and this is about our community, and our community is speaking up today.
Protesters here are sending a unified message as part of a movement that is sweeping the nation.
Hands off! Hands off!
Though passionate, the tone remained peaceful. Organizers said they've worked hard to keep it that way.
We're here to show people that it can be done, just like Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi. It's all peaceful, nonviolence, and that's what we're striving for.
Those attending say this is just the beginning of a larger push for change. With more local news, I'm Malia Brown.
Who need different paths of learning, and we believe in IEPs.
With his SUV covered in tree limbs and live power lines.
2 hours, you could say.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
All Gilbert Hernandez and his 2 daughters could do was hang out.
I guess the power cords got wrapped up under my axle, so possibly the car could have been charged.
Hernandez was driving on DeCamp Road in Youngstown around 5:30 Tuesday evening when serious storms rolled through, snapping this tree and bringing down power lines with it.
I had a vehicle behind me, a vehicle in front of me. Luckily I seen it in time. If not, it would have landed right on top of me.
Ohio Edison was called out to shut off the power, and about 2 hours after the tree first fell, Hernandez and his daughters were able to get out of the car. They didn't stay too long, though. Once emergency crews cut up the tree to free the vehicle, which coincidentally didn't have much damage at all, Hernandez was ready to go.
It's like it's over. I'm about to go home and relax, because it's been a stressful day.
At the Johnny Appleseed Festival in Lisbon, there was everything apple, including apple pie, candy apples, apple cider, and even folks making fresh apple butter. For many community groups and nonprofits, the festival is a way to not only please folks' taste buds,
you want to try something?
But a way to also raise money for important causes. In this case, apple butter sales will help fund the historic theater.
What it funds is all of our shows at the Playhouse. It also maintains our historic 1860 building. So we are always trying to put on shows there and keep that building looking bright, shiny, and beautiful.
You guys want an apple?
At the log cabin, Johnny Appleseed gave away free apples to kids and teens in a tradition that began in 1967. The real Johnny Appleseed, who lived in Pennsylvania, passed through the area in the 1700s.
I'm only the 5th person to play the part as Johnny Appleseed here for Lisbon. In Lisbon, that's a lifelong commitment. So the person that takes over the role does it then for the rest of their life or until they can't do it anymore.
There were dozens of food vendors to choose from. Some served up apple dumplings.
Enjoy!
The ride's also a great way to share time together for families on this first day of fall.
I look forward to seeing all the people gathering and having a good time and smiling and laughter. Toward the end of the season here, it's really nice to see that going on. And then all the good food and the rides and just a good old tradition, a nice thing to have going on in this area.
With more local news, I'm Janet Rogers.
The Butler has many wonderful things, many wonderful paintings. Among the great paintings in the collection is a work from 1997 by Robert Rauschenberg. Rauschenberg was one of the leading artists of the midpoint of the 20th century. They're sometimes referred to as neo-Dada artists. Neo means new, and Dada refers to a movement in the early 20th century in which the artist would find materials, objects on the street, and put them together into a collage or a photo montage or in any other kind of organization. Rauschenberg would borrow works from magazines and other sources and apply them to paper or canvas and tell a story using imagery, again, that he appropriates, that he brings into the process. Rauschenberg introduces the world, really, to modernism. Rauschenberg is important because he has influenced so many other artists. In this particular painting, you see references to the American flag. It's obviously tells a patriotic story. But in the case of Rauschenberg, that flag was not about patriotism, it was about a beautiful object. When you see a Rauschenberg painting, look beyond the story because he's trying to show you how to organize a composition and a painting. You'll see in this painting lines that move vertically and a shape that moves horizontally. And that's important also because it helps to organize the visual elements of the painting. By visual elements, I'm talking lines, shapes, colors, and textures blended together to make a single statement. Rauschenberg was a genius, and we're just thrilled to be able to proudly say we have a Rauschenberg in the Butler collection.
We'll see.
Not much. All right. Won't hold our breath.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Well, if you prefer 2 wheels over 4, you might want to stop out to see a new exhibit in Warren. We'll have a look at the National Packard Museum's annual motorcycle display next.
I always say I have the best job in the world because I go to work every day and I love everything that I do. Coming here on a Saturday morning, somebody said, "Oh, you don't need one more thing to do," and I said, "Actually, I love doing this. This is great." My name is Michelle Prokop. I am the orchestra director for grades 5 through 12 in Boardman, so I teach at Boardman Center, Boardman Glenwood, and Boardman High School. I had a parent approach me and she said, could we do a sort of a community outreach or service with our 8th graders? And I thought about it for a little while. We've never really brought an 8th grade group anywhere. We usually stick with high school kids, but we have an exceptional group. So I thought, yeah, I think we can do that. So she thought maybe the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign would be a great way for these kids to have a place to play, but also to raise money for the Salvation Army. Red Kettle is traditionally outside, but we can't really play outside because we're not a band, we're orchestra, so the kids have wooden instruments. We needed a place inside, and Sparkle Market was kind enough to offer their lobby area, and they have a big enough lobby, so we signed up for this Saturday morning that the kids could come out and play for a couple hours and do some Christmas cheer for everybody who's coming into the store, and hopefully raise funds for the Salvation Army. They service our community. It was something that was a good way, not just for the kids to play somewhere, but to raise funds. The Salvation Army provides for just anybody in need. They try to keep it in the community, so that was something that we wanted to do, was not do something that went far away, but something for our hometown. Music is strong in Boardman. Our groups are willing to play. Our kids love to play, and we have kids that really work hard. Our community is super supportive of music and fine arts, so we're very lucky here in Boardman.
Buried among the rolling hills at Oak Hill Cemetery are stories of people who lived long ago and helped build the cornerstones of Youngstown.
Common men helped build the foundation of this city.
Stefan Waddell Jones and other historians for the cemetery shared stories with guests on this walking tour. Jones tells us Charles Cartwright, who came here from England in 1849 and served in the Mexican War, started a steel mill with his brother, helping forge the valley's foundation in steel.
1875, him and his brother, who's buried over in Section 7, they were in the Cartwright and McCurdy mills. And then after that, it became Carnegie Steel.
and he's buried here at Oak Hill.
German, English, Welsh, and other immigrants came to Youngstown to mine coal, work in the steel mills and factories. Some of the folks who joined the walking tour braved the rain to hear about the history of past veterans and share the love of history runs deep, as they're related to Joseph Green Butler, who established the Butler Institute of American Art.
If you don't have history, how do you have a future? That's how I feel. If you don't have a past and a history, you don't know how to move on to your future.
With more local news, I'm Janet Rogers.